So today I took a few trades in the market and I screen recorded the whole process, walking you guys through where I entered, where I exited, and just wrote down my thought process in real time. But the whole idea here is I want you guys to be able to see what I saw and how I actually process things in real time. So with that being said, let's dive into it. So here is the session that I recorded. You guys can see during the session, I was taking some notes on what I think is happening. I was also taking notes where my short is, where I'm long, what my stop is. And I just kind of want to walk you guys through this using order flow, using the tape, using the DOM, like what I was looking for, right? So first thing is first, before any session, what I like to look at or what I like to do is I like to have a pre-market game plan. So before we even go into today's session and I talk about, everything that I saw and walk you through my trades, I want to show you what my pre-market game plan was and just set the tone for the day. Now, I highly recommend that you guys do start writing out your pre-market game plans before the session opens and just have a well-documented process that you can come back to. So here is mine. So if you guys look at mine, my pre-market game plan consists of theme of the market. What is the theme of the market? So market's been selling off hard the past month. We got a relief rally or hold last week. This week can set the tone. Today we have ISM economic data coming out at 10 a.m. This is very critical to pay attention to in terms of what direction the market moves. Powell is also speaking today. So these are key things that I have to be aware of, especially before I go into a session. I also like to take a screenshot of what or how the session looks before it opens, just so I can see how did it look before it opened and how did it look after the session closed. So I take my notes on it. Looks like we're opening around Friday's lows, heavy sell off in pre-market. And then I have my scenarios. So my scenarios are rally on open, rejection around 43.30 zone 1 or 43.40 zone 2. Two main zones to watch. If those rejection zones convert, we could see some upside play. I'm watching for an opening play, wait a few minutes to let price settle. Keep in mind, Powell speaks, so there is any play, it'll be the first hour or so. Risk off day, trade smaller size and be careful as we may possibly see a balanced session. So as you guys can see, pre-market, we open up, we reject off this 43.40 level. We are obviously above a gap zone, and then we start flushing down into yesterday's low point. Right, yesterday's session low point. That's where we're hanging around before the market opens. So I like to once again have this before I go into the day. Now, when I go into the day, this is my session. I'm gonna walk you through it. Typically, I don't like to take a trade the first 5 minutes or first few minutes, just to kind of let price show me what it wants to do, right? Now, here is the opening session. It's 9:29 a.m. Market is about to open in a couple of seconds, and I will show you what I'm seeing and what my focus point in the market is, right? By the way, what do I have up here for people that are watching? I have a footprint chart. I have delta footprint here, and then I have volume profile next to it. This is on the 5-minute chart. I have the DOM here, and then I have time and sales. This is for ES, this is for ES, and then I had NQ open up here. I had the ES DOM on the other screen, but so we're gonna look at this and I'll just briefly tell you what everything is here. If it's red, that's representing the delta, right? It's showcasing that there were more aggressive sells there than buys. And if it's green, that means there were more aggressive buys there than sells, right? The blue represents the volume. Obviously, you guys can see more volume was traded here, more volume was traded here, more volume was traded here in this candle. So it's relatively, when we do look at a candlestick chart, if you look at a 5-minute candlestick chart, it's the same thing as this, but just converted into a footprint with a breakdown of volume and delta in terms of aggressive buyers or aggressive sellers. And if you guys are lost in that, comment down, let me know. I'll make a video on that on this channel and kind of give you guys an insight on footprint charts and the type there are, right? So let's start going a little bit forward. So this is the first 5 minutes that the market opens, right? So we're at 9:30 a.m. 5 minutes are opening. 3 minutes in. So like I said, I'm writing out my kind of thought process right here. Okay. So I write down 43.20 short, maybe 43.24 stop. I have a key level of 43.24. 5 minutes in trade. I'm waiting for the 5 minute to close to kind of dictate what will happen, what price is showing me. I'm not currently in any trades. I'm cash at the moment, but I'm just kind of creating a trade setup. What I am looking for, I'm kind of setting it up before it essentially happens, or if it happens, right? So let's just keep going. Let's see what happens. 36. Here you go. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm seeing. And like I said, first 5 minutes, I'm letting price develop, right? I'm letting it showcase what it wants to do, where it wants to go, and kind of just set the tone from there. No trade so far. And now see, we're coming up at this level. Now, what I start watching for key levels like this is, number one, I want to start seeing, do we start seeing aggressive buying? Is aggressive buying getting rewarded if there is a strong level of buying happening here? And I'll show you what I mean in examples, right? I still have no trades. I'm looking at this. And like I said, mentally, I start setting up for this short play or short opportunity, right? Still no trade. This is just to kind of go back a little bit. This is how the chart looks like in that real time. We open up, we bounce off yesterday's low level, or last session's low level. We're bouncing above that. We're seeing a rally so far, which is okay, which doesn't determine anything as of yet. Like I said, after getting a big sell-off or a big rally, the first few minutes allows us to dictate what price really wants to do, right? And this is where, guys, one of the biggest things of traders is for us to know that we have to be patient, right? So 95% of my trading is just sitting on my hands, waiting for the market to give me an opportunity. And if and when it gives me that opportunity, I will capitalize on it. So even if you watch today and see this session, you guys are going to see there's times where I may have a trade and I'll stay cash because I want price to develop and I want it to give me some sort of signal to take on a trade. If price does not give me that, I will stay cash. Right, so we keep going. Let's just keep going. So I'll show you guys where the first trades were. Like I said, everything in real time is being written down here. There's some trades that were okay, some trades that were great, and I want to walk you through it. And keep in mind, I'm scalping, right? So I'm taking scalp trades today, meaning I'm going in super fast, coming out super quick. See, I write down, I'm biased, I'm short. Like I don't have a position yet, but I'm short. I'm looking for a short play right now. Short watch, right? So once again, waiting for price to develop, no trade so far. And I'm watching how we respond around here. And I'll break down what I'm looking for in the volume. Right now, like I said, it's the first 5-10 minutes. I'm just waiting for price to develop. I'll show you where I start looking to get into a trade and why. So now when we look here, as you guys can see, we had a range bound action here, pretty balanced micro trend action, if you want to call it, breaks out of that structure, breaks out of this structure, and now we're going into this structure again. So I do care about this whole zone that we're hanging around, and I care to see what happens in this zone. Are we able to hold this zone, or are we able to not hold this zone, right? And see, we keep going. And no trade for me. That's no trade for me. That's okay. That's fine. Now, what do we see here on the numbers right here, right? So we have delta. We're positive on delta. There's more aggressive buyers than sellers, right? They're hitting the ask over the bid. Same thing here. Action is getting rewarded, but this doesn't mean that price will continuously keep going up higher, right? Yes, so far that is great. But looking at my levels, looking at my levels of supply, looking at my levels of demand, I understand that this is a critical level of 43.28 or 43.30, right? So now you guys will see where my first short is. And also another thing, when we look at this 5-minute candle, right? This 5-minute candle is essentially this. This is a 5-minute candle, right? On this 5-minute candle, when we look at the volume profile, most price hung around this level. In here, price was essentially balanced, but most price hung around this level. Price didn't hang around above that too much. So price hasn't been accepted here. For me to go long, I want to see price get accepted in 43.30s above 43.28. So far, I haven't seen that. Hence why I'm still short. Mentally, I'm still looking for a short entry, right? And now what I start looking for in predicaments like this, I start looking, do we start developing here? If we start developing here, we start holding here and we make a run for 43.30, I might flip my short bias into being long. At this moment, I have not flipped that. But I am essentially, once again, because of my short bias, I am looking for a short opportunity. No trade so far. See, we keep going above that. I want to see us hang around this area once again, just to be in 22s. And then for me to possibly get a short there. Holding 43.22 really well, watching 43.28 for a 10 a.m. move. Right, so as you guys seen, I have no trade so far. I'm just watching price to develop, right? And I want you to take a key lesson away from this so far, because when a lot of people see my trades, I have 2 trades in a day or a trade a day or even 3 trades, they're thinking I'm spending a total of 10 minutes, I'm taking these trades. No, there's times I'm sitting and I'm watching the price action for 40 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour for that 2 or 3 minute trade, or for that 10 or 15 minute trade. I'm waiting for price to develop. Just like right now, as you guys are seeing, I'm waiting for price to develop. I'm waiting for it to signal something to me. Now we go into 9:45, right? So far, no trades for me at all. Now this is where I start looking for a trade. I start seeing this area holds really well. We start coming into this area very well balanced, right? 43.22, right? We rejected off here. We're coming into this area. We're also seeing the bid slowly drop. As we come here, bid starts slowly dropping, right? Now this area below this starts getting developed. So when I start looking for in situations like this, I start looking for these zones right here to get broken, and for us to possibly see a quick flush down into this level. That is the quick scalps that I look for, right? These are very quick. These are immediate trades that I start looking for. And you can see price starts developing on the lower end. We keep pushing on the lower end, price starts developing. You guys can also see the delta is red, meaning there's more aggressive selling here than buying. Now, if that aggressive selling gets rewarded, that is a good sign to see us break through this area. So at this level, so what I did here is I took a trade at 43.21.75. I looked for a cover at 43.25. That's where I am looking to cover. So at this point, I'm particularly in a short, and I'm looking to target the 14 area. That's my first trade. And you can see, once price breaks that and we start seeing these flushes, aggressive selling is kicking in. That aggressive selling is being rewarded. That justifies this move. So this move now becomes a little bit stronger, right? And I'll walk you through the good stuff about the trade, the bad stuff about the trade, and so on, right? So I exited this trade much earlier than I wanted. I got in 43.21.75. I exited about 2-3 points. I was targeting 14. Obviously, I got out before the target of 14, and I'll explain why. So the reason I exited this trade a lot earlier than I wanted to is because I wanted to see, or I made an assumption that if we are able to break 22.50, we'll see an immediate flush. Buyers won't be present. But what happened in this example is once we broke that level, aggressive selling kicked in, but there were passive buyers active here. Those passive buyers kept or held price up. Now, we are not in a flow session. We are kind of in a technical session, or we are in a balance session so far, especially with Powell speaking. So that's where my risk off mentality comes in for in some days where I'll go cash, I'll stay cash, and kind of take things from there, right? So now we start developing more in this zone continuously. We'll re-enter position soon. Still looks weak, cash as of now. Now I enter a short again in the 20s. So this is where I re-enter the short. I'm in at 20.5. I have a short position. So I want to walk you guys through where I saw that short and where that aspect of shorts kicked in, right? So when we go back here, as you guys can see, price is developing more on the lower side now after we developed a little bit here. And guys, this is very short term. This doesn't mean that ES or the particular security will go lower for the day or go higher for the day. It's just for that moment, hence why I'm scalping them. Price is developing more on the lower side after breaking the short-term structure, right? We're seeing the bid slowly drop. Selling is more aggressive, which is being rewarded, right? So I entered 43.21 short, right? I'm short at this particular point with the 23 stop. And the reason I put 23 stop is I'm looking to go above this level. This is where we're developing in volume. This is where we're developing and accepting price. We're getting a lot of aggressive selling going on here. That aggressive selling is being rewarded by making it move down, and it is reflecting on price, right? So that gives me the level of like, okay, great. And then I go again, don't like aggressive selling into hold. So a lot of times when we open up a candle and we open up just like that, I'm not really a fan of that action, right? So I go cash again. Now, a few things, right, that I want to talk about with execution. Because we opened up super quick. A few things I did wrong is I didn't follow my stop on this one, right? And you guys are seeing something, and that's why I want to share this session too, right? Because you see that the trade idea is there. The action is shaking me out a little bit, and I'm not comfortable in following my stop just yet because the session hasn't given me that extreme confirmation, right? And the two trades that I'm showing you, I'm not showing you two perfect trades. I'm showing you, hey, look, I had good ideas. I had solid entries, but I was mentally getting shaken out while I was in these entries due to certain things I was seeing happening. Right, so I go, will re-enter position soon. Still looks weak. Cash as of now, right? Cash. So right now I exited. These are essentially two scratch trades. I'm like, don't like the aggressive selling, right? So we get aggressive selling. Hold is happening. We're picking back up. No reward and effort. I'm like, no reward and effort, but now we know where action is happening. So looking at this so far, I'm gonna explain to you what I developed. Minus the trades I've taken, right? I've taken a scab at this short 2 times, both break even, nothing really big, but I was able to get some skin in the game and get out. Get some skin in the game and get out, right? Now looking at this, I have now understood so far, price is developing here. Price is comfortable here. Right, last minute price did develop here. What I didn't like that we developed a lot of action here. We got a lot of aggressive selling. Despite that, we weren't able to continue pushing down. Of course, the passive buyers are very present here, right? Now I start saying looking for short again. Currently cash. And then here is where I start developing that short position. 43.19 short, 43.2 cover, and then I also write stop. And then now I'm more comfortable on leaving this one. What I mean by this one now is I'm letting this stop go. I'm letting this stop develop. I'm comfortable with this stop. I'm comfortable to let price now develop and hang out. I feel more comfortable with this overall trade, where here it was more so building a position. So a lot of times what I'll look to do, especially if you have flow sessions and sessions are really trending, I'll start building positions. We come retest, show weakness, I'll build more. We go down, I'll build more. I'll start building a position and I'll start adding to it. There's sometimes what I'll do is I'll take scabs at positions. I'll enter a few contracts. Doesn't move the way I wanted to, or I made an assumption it would, I would go cash. Take a scab at it, doesn't move, I'll come back. So just kind of my skin starts getting in the game and I get comfortable with the action. And as you guys can see, I did that 2 times and essentially I got 2 scratch trades, 2 break even, no real movement on them. I'm going to label them as scratch trades. Now I go in 43.22 is my cover, that's my stop. 43.19 area is my short. So I'm in a short. I'm liking how price is developing. We're also going to start seeing the bid start really pushing down and it starts holding down despite all of the moves up, right? Right, 43.80, 43.1850. You see, we get the drop. a 50-cent move up, we get the drop again, 20-cent move up, 25-cent move up, 50-cent drop, and then we keep seeing that drop happen consistently. Right? At this point, I'm in this trade, I'm letting it run, I'm letting it hold, I'm letting it move, a little bit more comfortable. And now I'm targeting this area. And the reason I'm targeting this area, I'll show you guys in a bit. Right? I targeted 43.14 when cash ran 43.14. Now I'll explain why I went cashier. Okay, let's just keep going through this action. Cash, happy with the trade, looks bearish for open session. Coming close to opening low, reason for sell. We're coming to opening low, reason for sell. Second reason, 10 a.m. approaching, ISM is coming out. I don't like to hold trades during these economic events, so that's also why the opening becomes really, really tough for me. Took 3 trades so far, 2 scratch, one good, right? That was a solid trade. Looking for next position. These positions are to help me cover drawdown. So far, me building these smaller positions and taking scalps allows me to build for a drawdown, allows me to build my cash balance, allows me to now take a stab at a bigger trade, right? So I want to show you this action that happened here. So let me look at here, we get this quick rally into this 43.30, we get the rejection from 43.30 all the way to 43.13. So essentially what I was looking for is I was looking for a short from here, right? Somewhere around this area down till here. Why down till here is because this is where the opening low was, right? I care about the opening low. I don't want to see the thing with me is I'm not looking to short the opening low. I'm looking to sell into the opening low. I want to sell here, especially if I have built a good position. Most traders, what they'll do is if we get here, they're like, oh my God, we're gonna keep breaking. No, there's a lot of demand here. And you guys can see over and over again, we keep coming into this area. This is where people are maybe going short. They're getting trapped and we start getting reversed. Getting trapped, start getting reversed, right? So where liquidity is sitting and all this liquidity runs are happening and we're essentially getting trapped over and over again. I'm looking to sell into these areas. I'm not looking to hold, right? Hence why I got out of my position. I'd rather get out and rebuild my position than anything else. So now I stay cash, right? So let's just go a little bit faster and let's see how price keeps developing. 955, 957, 958. And then here, see, I talk about some of the trades. Aim for scalps, so that's fine. Open sets the tone, so okay with the trade. So I got the tone from the open. I had a few trades, 2 scratch trades, 1 profitable. I live with it. Now we go to 10 a.m. 10 a.m. is the cool part. Keep in mind, 10 a.m. economic data comes out. Waiting on 10 a.m. That's a 10 a.m. move for you. And you guys can see 10 a.m. Even if we don't have economic data, that's a lot of times where we see the first level of institutions step in, and they start creating movement. You get new players active, right? That's a 10 a.m. move for you. Let it settle. So around that time, we get economic data, we get moves, we get anything. I'm just letting price settle. I'm not forcing any trades here. I'm letting it understand where it wants to go, what it wants to do, and I let it set the tone for me again. And you guys can see, we have a huge swing from the low of the day till essentially the high of the day. We're having this huge swing. Price is developing on the higher end, as you guys can see, but I'm still not going for a crazy trade or any trade in general. I'm just waiting for price to once again develop. See, I'm like waiting till 10:05 for next trade. Next candle open, we'll watch. 43.24 area I care about, watching 43.30 as well. 43.30, I want to see how we develop around that area, around that wall where price starts developing. No trade, but short here with 43.34 stop is not a bad trade, but I'm cash. I'm not taking any trade. I still want price to develop. And you know, we start getting a 4 or 5 point move down, but nothing really cool. Now, another few notes. A lot of volume traded last candle. New players and activity came in. So if we just look at the volume on each candle, 9:30, we have 49,000 contracts traded, 38,000, 25,000, 33. Obviously on the open, we're gonna have the most contracts traded. And then you guys can see at 10 a.m., it goes right back up to the opening volume, which is absurd. This is an absurd number for 10 a.m., especially 30 minutes later, right? So new players are there. Once again, short idea isn't bad, but I'm cash. Now, like I said, because I'm already kind of, I have a bias on the day, primarily because Powell is speaking. A lot of times during those days, I'm not a fan of trading, or I'm not a fan of being aggressive. You guys can see we get the rejection around that high again into the low of the day again. Now we're getting a balanced session, right? Technical session, no flow session. We're not getting a flow day. Pretty balanced so far. At this point, trading in between these levels has just become very, very difficult. Also, as we get closer and closer to 10 a.m., it just doesn't relatively make sense anymore, right? And once again, just waiting for price to develop. All right, so that is the session. So I wanna show you guys a few things from that session, what I wanna give you guys away, right? So one, the session we went into today was a very balanced session. Now I didn't trade the whole day. I took on 3 trades. 1 trade did well, the 2 other were scratch trades. And the main thing in this session, guys, was how we are trading balanced sessions. So I will make another video on a flow session and how I'm adding to that and how I'm building days and trades that are flowing. But I want to focus more so on the messier action, right? Because I've realized day traders get trapped in the messier action more than anything, and they don't know how to deal with sessions that are balanced or essentially choppy, right? And my approach that I wanted to show you here, and I hope you guys, took away from this, was when I do see balanced sessions or I do see choppy sessions, I'm able to identify areas of massive demand, right? Areas of massive supply, areas that I am looking to take trades on, and what those trades consist of. My risk goes down massively. And with my risk going down massively, I'm also looking to identify areas of liquidity. Where is liquidity present? As you guys can see, liquidity is present here, liquidity is present here, liquidity is also present here. After liquidity also being present in these both areas, you guys can see once or if that liquidity gets taken out, you'll see how it reverts. Now, obviously this reverted after Powell was done speaking. So that was another thing with today's session. Because Powell was speaking, I keep reinforcing on that, is when you have Fed speakers coming out, having, having any sort of meetings or having any sort of conventions where they are speaking, especially Powell, that does create a session that is all over the place. That does create a more difficult session to read. Now, if you do go back into this action, if you guys do look at some of the action that I have traded, if you take these type of days and you trade them on flow days where the markets are moving and we don't have any outside noise causing any sort of, inflection to our movements, that will make it easier for us to take trades, right? And what I ultimately look at, I know people have candlesticks. I'm looking at footprint charts. Footprint charts, I'm looking at it with volume profile on that 5-minute footprint chart to get an idea of where accepted volume is. Are we getting aggressive buying? Are we getting aggressive selling? Meaning, are strong buyers present or weak buyers present? In terms of looking at passive orders, looking at aggressive orders, in terms of with the context of the overall market. And as you guys can see, I can have great trade ideas, but sometimes I'll have a good trade idea, but I'll back away from it. Sometimes I don't let my stop work all the way. Sometimes I'm cashing in my trade way before it even, starts moving. And that comes into, what do I feel comfortable in? What do I need to work on? And I record these sessions and I journal, because now I will go back into this session. I do know what are things I could have done better. What are things that I do need to improve on? And what are trade ideas that I need to keep hammering into? So with that being said, I hope you guys found value in this recorded session. I do plan to do more on this channel, breaking down sessions, breaking down great sessions, bad sessions, and just giving you my idea of what I'm looking for and what I'm seeing in the market. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, everyone.